Hi, Dr. Anna here, and here with an update for day number 15 of our 21-day detox challenge. So we are in the home stretch, all right, entering the last week of our 21-day detox, and I'm really excited to see how far so many of you have come and are making it. Today I want to talk about artificial sweeteners and why they're making you fat. And the big lie, and it's so frustrating. So anyway, this is really where I start raving about ranting rather about artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners and free refills actually are a big part of the reason why America is getting fat and sick. So let's talk about it. Probably one of the best known sweeteners is aspartame, right? And we've been studying and aware of the risks and side effects as well as toxicity to aspartame for actually over 20 years. For me, aspartame is as bad as cigarettes. And it is found in so many of our diet foods and diet drinks. So we think, and we were brought up, I don't know if you remember, it was like in the 70s, 80s, mom drinking tab soda to help us lose weight or so that we can keep our slim figure. And my mom passed away with heart disease and diabetes. So when we look at the research and look at the side effects or the potential consequence of insulin resistance and diabetes from artificial sweeteners, it's really hard to argue against that correlation, honestly. And I've looked at the research, and while there's yays and nays in the research, for me it is overwhelmingly positive. There was a recent study that I want to tell you about in 2010 in the International Journal of Pediatric Obesity, right? Why are our children getting fat? Why is this generation of children not expected to have a longer life expectancy than our generation? It's pretty frightening. Does aspartame and artificial sweeteners have something to do with it? Possibly. So in this journal, they did a systematic review of the metabolic effects in youth and artificial sweeteners. So what the study concluded is that the increase in artificial sweeteners is related to an increase in weight gain. Now that's just one of the many consequences. And the three reasons where I really get upset is that we can look at artificial sweeteners. And number one, it does not turn off our hunger, right? Because it doesn't hit our satiety centers or satiety centers. And so we're still hungry. We're going to eat more, crave more. So that's number one. It's really a lie that you're going to, drink this drink and, not gain weight. So number one, big lie. Number two, it increases insulin resistance. In many of the studies, especially in animal models that we've tested, that we have seen the increase in insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and weight gain in these populations using artificial sweeteners. So that's huge. And then number three, it makes us sick, right? If we're increasing metabolic syndrome, we're increasing our insulin resistance, the circulating glucose in our body, which we know is associated to inflammation and cancer, it's making us sick. So those are the three key lies with artificial sweeteners. Now let's talk in particular about the research that looked at aspartame. Now there are many out there, and I don't want to pick on anyone, but like I said, for me, aspartame is like cigarettes. Don't have it. And with that said, there are other artificial sweeteners that may be better than others, but in general, if we can avoid using any sweeteners or sugar, we're going to be better off and use natural foods that are naturally sweet. Cinnamon, vanilla are naturally sweet to our taste buds and can be excellent source of adding into your food or your coffee or your tea. And that can improve your sense of it being sweet, as well as just natural fruit. But in general, we want to stay low carb, right? Throughout this whole detox, weaning off of sugar, staying low carb, low grains, so that our body can be more metabolically active, improving our energy production, increasing our ATP production, and making us slimmer, sexier, fitter, and ideally more energetic and able to connect with ourselves, our body, and those we love around us. So that's key. So I do sometimes use and recommend use of stevia or xylitol. Those seem to be neutral. But again, we're not turning off our satiety center, and we may still have cravings after that. But in general, those may be a better choice. If we can avoid it altogether, even better. Let's just get off this artificial stuff. But stevia is from natural source as well as xylitol. And xylitol has other benefit of being slightly antifungal, so fighting off yeast and candida, which can be beneficial. So I've seen xylitol sweetened chewing gum, and that's not a bad substitute, but that'll get me into a whole nother discussion. Let's leave off the artificial sweetener. So let's look at what the research has looked at with aspartame, and specifically aspartame toxicity. So what's interesting is that aspartame is digested by our body and accumulated in our body. And it can negatively impact us in our physical body, in our metabolic and endocrine systems, neurologic symptoms, and psychiatric symptoms. So some of the physical consequences, if you're experiencing any of these and drinking using aspartame or other artificial sweeteners, let's just definitely cut it out if you haven't already and take it to the next level. Ideally, when you stop using it, it will enable your body to clear the remainder, decrease the burden of the effect of the aspartame on your body, and you'll be able to eliminate it and recover. But one physical symptoms, ears, tinnitus, so ringing in your ears. With your eyes, you may have a decreased night vision, and also dry eyes can be a consequence. Chest symptoms would include increased blood pressure and irregular heartbeat. Gastrointestinal symptoms can be an upset stomach and diarrhea. And skin and allergies, you may have hives or itching and have no other reason why you think you're having this. So itchy skin, hives, sensitive skin can be a reaction. Also, worsening of asthma can be due to aspartame. What are some of the metabolic and endocrine consequences? Well, if you think about in general that metabolism and our hormones are key to our energy production, anything that disrupts these in any negative way is going to make us tired, worn out, fatigued. And that is not the direction we're going, especially not in this detox, but definitely not with our Vita Pura transformation and living the healthy life, embracing life. So we'll see weight gain. The big one is weight gain and insulin resistance. And you're like, weight gain, wait, I'm drinking a diet soda so I can lose weight. Not quite panned out in the research, unfortunately. Long-term consequences, weight gain and insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, and the consequences that go from there. So if you're drinking and using an artificial sweetener, if you haven't stopped already, stop. But if you're using it for weight loss, nah, it's not working. And you may have already figured that out, but thought you were doing the right thing. Hence the lie that we're being taught and advertised about. Anyway, so the other symptoms endocrinologically, you may have hair loss. This could be from aspartame, as well as PMS and menstrual irregularity. So I saw that over and over in my practice, stopping the diet sodas, decreasing sugar as well, and increasing your natural greens, the alkalizing food in your diet, can do wonders to decrease your PMS and menstrual irregularity. You won't need birth control pills to do that, or antidepressants. Stop the diet sodas. All right, neurologic symptoms. Now, when I read this list, I was really surprised, but it certainly had a patient a couple years back who was a 55-year-old male, and he had, in my office, he had this resting tremor as he was, just sitting with the pen in his hand. 55-year-old, otherwise in good shape, balanced on hormonal therapy, and he had this resting tremor. Well, he was doing 4 to 5 Diet Cokes a day. We stopped at Diet Cokes completely as part of my program, added some additional nutrient support, added Mighty Maca to help with detoxifying and alkalinizing and other greens, and in 3 months, those tremors were gone. So whether it was the aspartame or not, he certainly resolved it and got off his Diet Coke habit. It certainly wasn't doing him any good. The other thing is, so tremors are a neurologic side effect. Memory loss, confusion, migraines, dizziness and unsteadiness, which we definitely don't want when we're older and more susceptible to a break or in our bones, as well as seizures and chronic fatigue syndrome. Psychiatric side effects include depression, aggression, birth and cognitive defects in the baby. If you're pregnant, no diet sodas. No diet sodas, no sugars. we have to avoid these chemicals in our body as well. And it can also include too insomnia, not to mention irritability or bitchiness. We don't want that. So if we're drinking diet soda, we want to be slim, fit, sexy, and fabulous. But if we're being bitchy, irritable, and gaining weight, defeating the purpose, right? Okay, so have I convinced you to stop drinking diet sodas? Yes? Great. Okay. Now, where are the products that contain aspartame, and how do you find out? Believe it or not, even some of these water drinks and what we're thinking of our health drinks have aspartame. Read the label. Read the label looking for artificial sweeteners. And gelatin, pudding mixes, even sexual lubricants. If you read the label, some may contain aspartame. I was appalled when one of the companies that we've used the Kegel balls or our pelvic floor exercising balls with had a lubricant that had aspartame. And I, wrote the company, but we put aspartame in lubricant? Seriously? So check the ingredients of all your products. Who knows where aspartame is lurking? Quite dangerous. All right, so we've got those 3 reasons that we're going to stop having any artificial sweeteners. Is number 1, most likely it's contributing to weight gain and insulin resistant and metabolic syndrome. Number 2, it's a huge lie. Number 3, it's making us sick. Enjoy your unsweet tea and your herbal drinks and great healthy water to your heart's content. Avoid the artificial sweeteners in all ways. And on that note, just a reminder, drinking too much with your meal dilutes your digestive enzymes, right? Makes sense. The law of dilution. Pour acid. You're meant to digest the food. Add water or other drinks, fluid on top of it. You dilute the acid, and you're going to have a slower decomposition of the food that you're eating, pushing food through, partially digested, regurgitating it back up, increased gas, increased imbalance in the gut's bacteria, and bad breath even. All those things can be from unhealthy digestion. So drink in between your meals. Stop 20 minutes before. Start 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours after your meal. Give your body plenty of time to use the digestive aid that it creates naturally, your digestive enzymes, without diluting it with these free refills. Free refills and artificial sweeteners making us fat, unhealthy, sick. All right, you are the educated public. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.